Today I fucked up by sending hentai to my Facebook Messenger story, NSFW. Oh boy, this just happened. I'm digging my own grave to hide in as we speak. Hopefully no one I know looks on here. So me, F20, and my boyfriend, M21, openly share hentai with each other. It's like a ritual. We scroll on here often looking for the lewds for those fun nights. During these few months there have been plenty of those, and we will often send each other stuff we think the other will like. So there I am, sending him some hentai for him to go to town to later on tonight. We don't live together. All is going well, until I get a Facebook message from my cousin asking what I had put on my story. I'm confused, so I go to look on my story, and there it is. This image is on my story, for everyone to see. At least 40 people had seen it. I have to admit I felt a bit famous, as I've never had that many views on anything in under a minute. Yes, 40 people simultaneously looked at that glorious image. I had to come up with the excuse that I had sleep saved it, and then my phone played up while trying to delete it. I'm lucky that my mom didn't see, as she doesn't know I look at hentai. Too long didn't read, sending my boyfriend hentai, sent one to my Facebook story, resulting in 40 plus people knowing I look at hentai. Cousin messaged me like WTF is this shit, faked having sleep saved and fucked up deleting, and worshipped the hentai gods for not letting my mom see. Easy fix. Send some of those 50% Ray-Ban discount ads a few times, wait a day and then post an apology about your account being hacked, etc etc. Alternatively, own it like a boss and keep posting. The hack strategy could definitely work. A few people have been getting hacked with weird links on their profile. It's definitely a contender. I'm definitely too awkward of a person to own it. Damn, that's hot though, isn't it just? It was probably a nice surprise for some people. What sub did you get this from? Doing some research for a friend. Tell your friend it's r/hentai wink wink. Honestly, props to you guys for being an awesome couple. Every girl I dated was like, uck, I don't get W hymen lee KT hat s hit. Yeah, me neither. Sweating face. Sweating face. Girls that say that are either full of themselves, or super insecure, the toxic kind. I don't see the problem with it. It's fictional characters that look damn good. It's not like we can physically have sex with them, and if it makes someone happy and helps them get in the mood, then spam their messages with hentai. Let the men wank and the women fap. If this was me, I'd have deleted Facebook and all of my contacts before moving to a new city. Don't forget to get a new identity. Today I fucked up by causing mass hysteria while eating some fries, so I'll start this today. I fucked up by saying that technically there is 2 fuck-ups in this story. I will also say that where I live in Canada, COVID restrictions have been easing and things are starting to open up again, with proper social distancing and wearing masks, etc. I have been talking to a woman online for a while now during all this worldwide madness, and we had decided it was time to finally meet up this evening and enjoy some sunshine, a couple drinks and a nice dinner on the patio at a local pub. This is where the first fuck up happens. Me, being the idiot that I am, in all my excitement to finally be meeting this girl, had my mind elsewhere and completely forgot to grab my lunch out of fridge for work this morning. My work is in an industrial area with 0 fast food options around. I don't normally eat first thing in the morning. I'm a coffee, shower and go kinda guy. So by my lunch break I normally have a pretty good case of the tummy grumbles going on. My only option was a chocolate bar and a bag of chips out of the vending machine, which was a far cry from the butter chicken, rice, and steamed veggies I knew were sitting in my fridge calling my name. Literally all day my mind was bouncing between the anticipation of finally meeting this girl and the thoughts of my mouth-watering meal sitting at home. Finally I get done work. I work in a different city than the one I live in, and both my date and the pub are in the same said city that I work in. Therefore I brought a change of clothes to work so that I didn't have to make an extra trip. I offered to go and pick her up, and when I get there she has done herself up really nice for the occasion, and I now have a set of googly eyes to go with my very unhappy stomach. Once we get headed toward the pub, I give her the story about forgetting my lunch at home and how I have survived off coffee and willpower for the day. I give her the disclaimer that there is a high probability that once I see food I will inhale it and that normally I'm not such a savage. Luckily she find the whole story rather hilarious and insisted it was fine, she would be starving too and she wouldn't hold it against me. That's great news, right? Get to the pub, get seated, order our drinks and food. The conversation is great, my beer is great, the only thing wrong is the burning pit of emptiness inside me. I am so famished I can't even let my eyes wander to nearby tables to look at the food. My date has had a huge grin on her face the entire time, whether it was because of the good conversation or because she could see the anguish and desperation creeping into my face, I may never know. Finally our food is brought out and I can barely contain my excitement. I quickly take a few bites out of my burger, barely stopping for air. Instantly hear the hallelujah chorus. Everything is suddenly right in the world again, and I think to myself that my problems have finally been sorted. I'm in the company of a very wonderful woman, my near immobilizing hunger is about to be sated, this night was going to turn out terrific. I set my burger down to exchange a few words with my date and have a quick gulp of beer to help wash down the practically whole bites of burger that I barely chewed. Now my eyes have gravitated to the mountain of delicious fresh cut fries sitting on my plate. This is where the second, much bigger fuck up happens. I grab a fry and shove it in my mouth and what do you know, this crispy little piece of heaven has to be one of the best I've ever had before. I scoop up 3 more and eagerly shovel them into my mouth. My date starts to giggle at me, which in turn causes me to giggle. And of course, what I can only assume to be most of a whole, unchewed finger-sized section of the golden brown deliciousness goes straight down my throat. I quickly take another gulp of beer but the thing doesn't budge. So I try to clear my throat, again nothing. Now I can still breath, but that unfortunate sensation of needing to cough and try to unlodge my once friend turning enemy is creeping up on me. I inform my date what has happened and her giggle starts to subside. Now the middle of a pandemic is not the time to have a coughing fit in public. Regardless of the situation, people are going to assume the worst, and I'm only too well aware of this as my body starts convulsing and I release a never-ending wave of uncontrollably loud and obnoxious coughing that I can't contain. I can't even look up as I'm hunched over hacking away like I've just smoked 100 cigarettes while trying to run a marathon. After what feels like an hour my throat has regained its freedom from the fry and I think I can finally return to my plate of food and lovely date. Oh how wrong I was. Unbeknownst to me, while I huddled and raging my battle against the rebel fry, the entire patio turned into pandemonium. I'm talking everyone up from their seats, lined up against the wall, frantically pulling their masks on staring at me. Some people even fled to the parking lot in their efforts to protect their well-being. The only person still seated other than myself is my date, with her hand over her mouth, who is halfway between shock and uncontrollable laughter at the events that have just occurred. This story has gone on way longer than I anticipated, so I'll shorten it up. We left immediately. The waitress practically threw the debit machine at our table in an effort to stay away. She also told us to take our food to go, literally plates and all, no need for takeout containers. I have no idea what happened to the other patio goers after we hightailed it out of there as quick as our feet could carry us. Probably ran home to bathe themselves in Lysol, I'm guessing. I'm not easily embarrassed, but I could literally feel my face being on fire. Not my best moment, but I ended the day with a full belly, some new plates and cutlery, and somehow even managed to get assurances that it was the most entertaining date she had ever been on and would love to see me again. I think next time we will get delivery. Too long didn't read. I went on a date, was starving and eating way too fast. My date made me laugh, choked on a fry and caused an entire patio of people to think they were about to get COVID. Choked on my own spit at Walmart, was escorted out by a police officer because of my coughing fit. The times we live in. I thought there was going to be projectile vomit involved in this, so as long as it was only threat of a deadly virus, oh god, what is this world coming to? LOL. I think your date has got a decent sense of humor, and COVID-19 or not, people to need to take a breath and use their brains instead of panicking. I've had absolutely awful allergies this year, so I started wearing a mask early because every time I coughed or sniffled somebody would give me the hairy eyeball, but I basically just said loudly, allergies not the plague, and left it at that. Fuck them if they don't have a sense of humor. I tried to calm the masses, but after a few words I quickly realized they were not going to be convinced. The damage was done, and if they feel the need to lock themselves inside for the next couple weeks over an unfortunate stray fry, that's on them, lol. TBH, this sounds like a story the two of you will tell your kids one day about meeting and falling in love in the time of COVID. Assert dominance. Today I fucked up by killing my child's first pet. Slightly over 2 months ago, we had this housefly in our apartment. It would always perch on the wall as we ate, and our baby loved it. She would keep pointing to it, squeal in delight and clap when it flew. As cute as it was a health hazard, so it had to go. Unfortunately, that fucker was fast, so it took us 3 days to finally kill it. The first flyless meal, the baby noticed immediately. He pointed at the spot where the fly usually perched, shrugged and went, "Eh?" which was her way of asking, where. She was only 12 months, so we figured she'd forget about it after a few days. Well, it's over 2 months now, and she's still asking for the fly. About 5 months ago, she even started a new ritual where she would hold up her food in the direction of where the fly used to be, and make lip smacking motions, which is how she tells us and her dolls to eat when she's feeding us. Every meal. Like it's some kind of baby offering to an uncaring god. I felt so bad, I started looking into the possibility of getting hygienically bred houseflies to keep as a pet. My husband convinced me that would be absolutely bonkers and vetoed the idea though. Too long didn't read, killed my baby's first pet. Can't you just put some fly stickers on that very spot when baby got to eat? Lol. You did the right thing. Just say it flew away. I remember when my grandma bleached our tank of pet crayfish because the tank smelled. My husband has been creating crazier and crazier story about the fly. It was here on vacation and has returned to its brethren in Indonesia. It won a green card lottery and is an American citizen now. It ignored travel restrictions and has been quarantined indefinitely. The baby's too young to understand any of that though, so I guess she thinks the fly is still coming back. As cute as it was a health hazard, so it had to go. Unfortunately, that fucker was fast, so it took us 3 days to finally kill it. Okay, Walter. I'll relate my own pet fly story. My son had just learned to say fly. He actually would say lie, but we knew what he meant, and would always point them out. So my husband was getting him ready for bed and one lands on the door. Lie. Lie, he said, pointing at it. My husband thought he was afraid of it, so he smacked it and killed it. From the other room I heard horrified screams and sobs of grief. He had just witnessed his best friend being murdered. In his toddler mind, he was completely inconsolable for several minutes and my husband was traumatized. All this to say, could have been worse. You could have killed it in front of her, smiley face. Lord of the Flies.